trading is predicting the future. That's the honest truth. We are trying to predict future price action that has yet to happen. And the only tools that we have are past performance. So I know they say past performance does not indicate future results, but that is all that we have when it comes to trading. So I'm going to show you guys how to find our key levels, but more importantly, how to navigate through them. A lot of traders message me and they say, hey, I'm using the 2 hour time frame. Hey, I'm using the 4 hour time frame. And it seemed like the 2 hour used to work. Now the 4 hour works. And that is trading. Trading is being able to be fluid. It will change. Something that works today may not work tomorrow. And it's our job to look at the screen, zoom out, and see what could possibly work this time. So I'm gonna show you guys how I navigate through that. So right now, I'll show you guys on a couple stocks. So this first one right here is NVIDIA. And the first thing that I always do is I make sure that that I am on extended time. So right here, you can see there's extended trading hours and regular trading hours. Make sure you are on extended trading hours. And then I go to my settings and I just take the pre-market and post-market opacity to 0. And the reason I do that is because I want a nice clean chart like this. Now, the next thing that I like to do is go on a 4 hour time frame. So I'll put in 240 minutes, which is a 4 hour time frame, and I'll take a peek and see how this thing is doing in terms of a trend. So we can see on NVIDIA right here, NVIDIA has been on this nice uptrend, and then we started to lose that trend a little bit. So I would say this thing was bullish, but sellers are obviously stepping in. Now we have this indicator right here. It's called the regression trend, and this kind of gives us an idea of that trend line. Sometimes it's easy just to see with the naked eye, but if we add that, we go to the low. So we go to the low of NVIDIA, which is right here around $113, and we move this all the way to the high. So just like that, and then we can throw on a couple trend lines. So we have one trend line up there, which is our upper level trend line, and then we can take one and move it down here, and now we can get rid of that blue line. So now we have a little bit of a better picture of NVIDIA. We can see this thing was trading within this trend. We were having a nice uptrend, and right about there, a couple of days ago, we started to lose that trend and we became a little bit bearish. Now I'll turn on my indicator, my 4 hour time frame, and then I'll just simply put those on my charts. So you can see right there, we have a level. That would be our supply level because it's above the price action. We can move this a little bit higher. And then we have another zone down here. This is below the price action. So that's our demand zone. And then we have another level down there. That's another demand zone. And then now I'll go to my 2 hour time frame and do the same exact thing. Alrighty, we'll give it a couple seconds for it to pop up. And now we'll do the same thing. So we have a demand level right there. So we'll label that demand. Pull this thing lower. We have another demand zone down there. Pull this thing higher. We have a supply level right there above the price action. And then we have one up there. And I think that is enough for now. So, and then we have a little one right there. So I think that's enough for now. So now that we have our 4 hour, our 2 hour, and guys, like I said, this thing is flexible. You can go to a daily chart and see if that works a little bit better for you. It is about being able to be adaptable. And the most important thing is once you put those zones on your chart, to see how price has reacted around those zones. So now I'm gonna go to a 30-minute time frame. And then I know someone is gonna say, is it always a 30-minute time frame? No, it's whatever you want. You can go to a 15-minute, you can go down to an hour. I just want a little bit of a shorter time frame just to see what is going on. So now I can see we have this level right here at 136. We have this level right here at 136 where NVIDIA broke out of. We can see we broke out of this level. we came back, we retested it, we were able to hold it and continue higher. And then now we can see we are losing this level right here. So I would say our trend looks for the short term that we could be a little bit bearish. So I would be looking for possibly short opportunities, possibly around that 136 area. So we could find some resistance around that 136 and start to push down. Our next level of major demand is right here around that 129. But I have a couple reasons why this thing looks bearish. Number one is the trend. We lost our uptrend. We had this uptrend, we lost that uptrend. Number two is we broke a supply level. We broke we broke a demand level. So we had a demand level right here at that 136 level right there, and we broke below it. That tells us sellers are currently in control. So I would be looking for shorter opportunities. So when markets open up, if this thing starts to push into this 136 area, I'm going to see if this thing just consolidates and possibly look for a short trade over there because I want to follow that trend. If we break above this level, then that's fine. I don't want to be taking that trade. I'm going to just avoid it. That is what it means to be to kind of read outside of the box. It's not about just those zones, but we need to see if those zones are working. Just say I opened up my charts and I see this zone is maybe up here. I would say, hey, this looks like a good zone as well. We can see that is a nice demand level. If I see something down here and it doesn't make sense, if I'm like, oh, this doesn't make sense, I don't see any price action really bouncing off of this level, then I would probably not be taking those zones. I'll show you guys another example. We can go to Tesla. Tesla is one that I usually like to trade. So you can see I made my key levels. Actually, for you guys, I'll start fresh. So let's remove everything. And we kind of do the same thing. We go to a 60-minute time frame or a 4-hour time frame, whatever we want. And we can see for Tesla, it's a little bit hard to gauge the price action. We can see Tesla had this downtrend right here. So Tesla had this downtrend right here, and then it started to have a bit of an uptrend right there. And we started to lose that uptrend kind of right here. So I would possibly say, you know, Tesla looks a little bit bearish. The overall markets looked a little bit bearish, but yes, Tesla looks a little bit bearish. Let's see if we can find some opportunities with that. So now that we have that, we can go to a 4-hour time frame. And now I'll show you guys actually going to a daily time frame. So just say I go to a daily time frame. I want to look at the daily chart. I want to see the bigger picture. So now I can see for Tesla, we have a daily time frame right there. So we can say we have a supply zone and just label it. Go to your text and say, hey, this is the daily. So that is a daily supply level. We can move this higher. We have another daily supply level over there. We have a daily demand zone right here. So just go to demand and then let's just label it really quick. We'll say demand zone and then we'll put a D there for daily. So we know that is the daily time frame. And then even with this, we can see a little bit of a picture. We can see Tesla came higher, but it started rejecting this higher time frame on the daily chart. Now let's go to a 2-hour time frame. I'm going to show you guys how it's not about the time frames. It's not even about drawing the zones, but it's about reading how price has been reacting. So now we are on the 2-hour time frame. And we'll just turn that indicator on and we can see all we have is one right there, right in the middle of those zones, which is our daily resistance level as well. So now let's go to a 60-minute time frame because we don't have a lot of time frames on our chart. So we want to find a little bit more. So right here, we have a time frame right there. And this is actually a good example. I'll show you guys. So we have a supply zone right there. Let's just turn off the indicator for a second. And when I look at this supply level, I can see right here, yes, this is a resistance level, a resistance level, a resistance level. But then when we look at the near term, if we look right there, let's zoom in a little bit. We can see price is not really respecting this area that well. Yes, we have that zone right there, but overall, it doesn't seem like it's respecting this zone that much. So just get rid of it. I don't want to look at it as a zone. It's not about the indicator. There is no holy grail indicator. If that shows you that that zone is not working, then just get rid of it. Now we'll turn our indicator back on, and it shows us that we have a demand level down here. So guys, we're still on the 1 hour time frame. So we can see we have a demand zone right there. If we look back in time, we can see, yes, this demand zone seemed like it was a trustworthy demand zone. We can see price action bouncing there. We can see it turn into a resistance level kind of over there. And then if we look at the most recent time, we can see that we had a really nice bounce right at that level. So that's a zone I want to keep. Now, we can see we don't have that many zones on our chart. So let's jump to a 30-minute time frame so we can get a little bit more levels if we want to trade this. But once you start getting to those shorter time frames, once you start getting to the 30-minute time frame, just to know that these levels are not maybe the most accurate levels simply because it's such a short time frame. So I would only be looking for scalp trades or really short-term trades. And the way I distinguish these levels is if I go somewhere right here, I'll say that's a demand level, but change the color. So now I know my gray zones are ones that are on the really short time frame, and I possibly don't want to be I need to just be aware of that whenever I'm trading. So I'll put a zone right there. We'll say that is a supply level. We'll make that gray, and then we'll make one more and we'll push it up here. And now we are all done. Now we have some key levels on our chart. We can see Tesla is currently at this 336 level. That is a nice demand zone. We can see we are currently holding that level. We can see Tesla has been kind of bearish just from this. We can see past couple of days we've been bearish, but we are attempting to hold this level. What I would be looking for in this type of scenario is if Tesla loses this level. This is just a 30-minute time frame. There isn't a lot of liquidity at the 30-minute time frame. So what I am looking for is, will Tesla lose this 334 level and start heading down to the 2 hour and the daily time frame where there is the most liquidity? That is the liquidity that could really push this thing higher. A 30-minute time frame will not usually push a stock that high. Sometimes it will, you can see right there. Sometimes it does, but a 30-minute time frame usually does not have the passive orders to push a stock, and it usually requires active orders for that thing to move. But a daily time frame definitely has the liquidity and the passive orders to push a stock higher. So that is what it means to be a trader, to look outside of everything. And then one thing I did not go over is while you're doing this, before you even start looking at these, what you need to do is go on ES, go on the S&P 500. So you hop on the S&P 500 and see where the S&P 500 is. If the S&P 500 is sitting at a really nice demand level, I wouldn't be looking to be shorting other stocks. If I see the S&P 500 losing a demand level, then I would be looking for a short position on stocks, or I would feel more confident in a short position, and I would probably be avoiding taking long positions. You can see the S&P 500 dropped, and that caused all the other stocks to also follow along. So guys, that is all for this video. I hope that the things that I went over didn't confuse you guys anymore and helped you guys. I know this video is a little longer, but just comment down below if you have any questions, if there's anything you missed or you want me to elaborate on, and I'll see you guys in trading on Monday. Peace.